Ho 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 and Merry Christmas to everyone out there. My name is Kelsey Dominic and I am the designer and CEO of Didomenico Design. Welcome to my studio. If you have never seen it before, we are in the midst of Christmifying it. And what I usually do every year is turn this mannequin right here into a Christmas tree dress. The only difference of what I wanted to do this year versus previous years is number one, make it super dramatic, and number two, make it so that I could actually wear it myself. So I could take it off, wear it around, lit up if I wanted to, and I wanted to guide you guys on how to do that yourself. I know that there's a lot of different tutorials out there on how to make just one that you want to put on display, but to do something really dramatic for some type of like window display, or even if you just want to use the construct of how I build this for any other type of costumery or something like that, it is totally up to you how you want to use it, but there's just a lot going on. So in order to start, there's a few things that you're gonna need. If you want to build something that's similar to the end product of what I make, there's a list. I actually purchased some materials from Lowe's. So the first thing that I got, originally I was gonna do metal sheeting and wiring, but it was very heavy, so I could only imagine how heavy the thing was going to be itself, the dress. So I went with plastic. This is a multi-purpose net for either chicken coops or gardening. You can get this at Lowe's, and they're about $25. The garland that I got was from Walmart. These are about $7.95 a piece, and I had to get 8 of them in order to get the 400 because they're 50 feet a piece, and so this was really awesome. And then the next thing that I got, you guys will end up seeing, is net lighting. So I decided to go with the net lighting instead of string lighting because it was a lot easier to drape the lights on top of the dress. Unfortunately, when I was shopping, I did not see any options for LED lighting for remote control and things that would allow me to walk around anywhere other than my house, plugged into a wall. So that's something that you may want to consider. The total I spent on this project was probably right under $200. So my budget was $100, and the fact that I made it out of there under $200 was actually amazing the more that I looked at the prices. But just be conscious of how dramatic you want it to be. If you're willing to make that type of investment, it's the perfect type of project for you and something that may be a personal touch to your Christmas holiday. So with all that being said, let's jump into it. Okay, so the very first thing that you're gonna wanna do is measure the waist of your mannequin. So I'm measuring here, and this actually measures out to about 27, 28 inches. I personally am smaller than that. However, I actually add about 2-3 inches just so that if somebody else wanted to wear it or somebody wanted to rent it because that's what my business is, of course I'm gonna want to exercise a few different sizes in there and make it adjustable. So depending if you want it to be your size or to have it a variation of sizes, you can do that. Okay, you guys, so I wanted to show, I actually laid out all the netting here and I folded it in half. You can see on this side that it's folded. So since the mannequin is actually 30 inches is what I'm gonna do for the waist, I went ahead and divided that by 4. So half of 30 is 15 and half of 15 is 7.5. And so for the waist measurement, while it's folded, I did 7.5. And for those who normally cut things out as a dress, like, you understand why it has to be done in quarters, because we're only building the front of it right now. So I did basically a 45-degree angle all the way down, which ended up measuring to about 47 inches. I'm personally only 39 inches from my belly button to the floor, but again, I want this gown to be really big and just like flare out in front of me, so I want the extra inches to allow the dramatic effect. Okay, so once you cut it out, it should look something like this for the front panel. It's basically a V upside down. And your ends will be a little curly cuey because it came out of that roll, but don't worry, once you put everything together, it should be able to balance out. Okay, on to the back panel. So as you can see, I've actually folded it once more, but I'm actually, last time I cut it lengthways this wide, this time I'm cutting it lengthways this wise, just because, as I said, the side of the last panel we cut, the longest side was 47 inches. So this side, as you can see here, is 47 inches, but I want the back to be even longer. So we're actually measuring that out all the way to 66 inches. Wow. And these are only 2 of 3 panels I want to put back there. So like I said, we could have finished this whole thing up by doing 7.5 inches, but I'm actually going to only measure out 4 inches here. I know it looks like a little bit more, but 4 inches for each panel, and then we're gonna close it up by doing one 6-inch panel in the back that's even longer than the 66 inches. So from here to here, 66 inches, from here, 4 inches, and from here to here is 47, so we can match the other panels in the back. Okay, you guys, so I cut that part out and I put it on the mannequin. As you can see, there's got this like wide open gape in between the two, and that's the last panel that I want to cut. I think because it is so big at the bottom. All right, so we're in for the final shebang, you guys. I had to cut in each panel separately because it was so long, but up here we're now down to 3 inches. You could do less if you want. The last panel, the longest it had on there, if you guys remember, was 66 inches, and so each measuring tape is only 60 inches long, so I added 6 inches here, so 66 inches, so it can match the most recent panel. And so I decided to go basically cathedral length, if you can think of the most dramatic wedding dress you've ever seen, but I went all the way to 100 inches. And cathedral is 120, I know, but 100 is still very, very dramatic. And what we're gonna do here is actually make that rounded effect so that the train can be pretty awesome. I'm beat. Okay, so this is the construct or the basis of everything that we're going to build on top of it. But until we can actually add the garland, the next step in this whole process is actually attaching everything. The reason why I am so out of breath is because honestly everything is so coily that it keeps bouncing back up, so I have a hard time just like keeping it where I want it to. But now that it's in place and just in mind, maybe you guys want to keep some things close by that might be a little heavier to hold the sides or the edges down as you cut it out so it's not bouncing right back up in your face. So I'm gonna bring you guys in closer and see how we do it. Okay, so I got a pack of these zip ties at Lowe's for about $5. There's 100 of them, and I got green so it can match the garland. It can kind of blend in a little bit, but basically what we're gonna do is, you see how like the seams are overlaying? Well, this stuff is actually pretty prickly once you cut it out. You gotta be careful because I kind of like cut my hand a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see, but like it depending on like how you cut it, it can just like grab onto you once you cut it out. So the best way to make sure that doesn't happen when you're wearing the dress is to overlay these parts and zip tie it together, and I would highly recommend cutting off these edges. So I'm gonna go around the whole entire dress and do that. Guys, this is it. The base is finally done. Everything is attached. Basically, I went in and you see the little zip ties. I cut off the little edges so they don't stick out, but I put about 5 to 8 on each seam depending on how long it was. and it's still doing the whole curling up thing, but once we get some weight, some garland on there, all of this garland that we've got over here, it's gonna be fantastic. So that's what we're doing next. Oh my God. 4 hours later, we got ourselves a dress, ladies and gentlemen. We got ourselves a dress. Hey you guys, so I'm really excited. We finished the skirt, the Christmas tree skirt, and now we are we're setting up to do a photo shoot. As soon as the sun starts going down a little bit, we are going to light it up.